hey, do you think it's fucked up that, 4 times as many black people or arrested as white people on any given day? We have, unfortunately, so many people that sit in jail long term for just, being in cannabis business, non-violent crimes. And we both just really realized that we felt really passionate about the fact that it was wrong, and the fact that the state level legal programs that have been developed over the years, only something like 2 or 3% of them are run by people of color. So we decided that we were going to figure out a way to help these businesses. We decided to open up a fund. There wasn't a whole lot of negotiation between Chris and I. We said we'd do this 50-50, and we just we felt very excited that we could do well by doing good. And originally the thought was that we'd be doing a good thing, and would we be able to continue to do the same performance in our regular funds out over the years? We said, even if we did, half of that would still be great. But what I would say, and sorry, I fast forward a little bit, but what I would say is, since we have gotten the fund up and running, and we've been meeting with lots of different, really, really exciting companies, I think that the returns in this fund should do equal, if not better, than the regular fund. Because what I've learned personally is that people of color, they are truly part of the fabric of cannabis, and they are, they certainly don't make up 2% or 4% of the consumers of the product. And unfortunately, they've been, the whole war on drugs was pretty much weaponized against people of color. But the fact is, at first we wanted to do something good, and now we realize that these are going to be some of the best businesses that we invest in. And with the help, on top of that, of these social equity programs that states are really getting behind now, we're like sort of much more excited than we've ever been about
so look, people want to know, how do I play? How do I invest? How do I become one of your target companies? And talk about the foundation too.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to make sure that I don't sideline Chris. Can we hear him?
Chris, can you hear us? Come in, Chris.
No, we can't. Okay, I'll take it. So what happened was we announced the fund, and we still hadn't fully worked out all the details. And we realized that there's a lot of things that we want to do to sort of help right a lot of the wrongs that have happened over the years. A lot of those things are not really, you can't invest in a business. It's not really a business venture to do a lot of the things we want to do, like records expungement and job training and things like that. So over the last, or within a couple of months, we evolved into the idea that we were going to have a separate foundation, and the foundation was going to be the entity that funded all of the different things that we were going to do that we couldn't justify that we were investing in something that was going to make money, because we do feel strongly that on the fund side that we are only going to invest in companies that we think are viable businesses and that are going to generate returns over time. But through the foundation, which we found that a lot of our investors, in addition to wanting to invest in the fund, they've wanted to donate to the foundation as a charitable donation, and we can go into a lot of the more charitable, non-business type, get behind things like Cookies University, which is one of the first
take us through that, because that's fascinating. People need to know what to do, how to build a team, how to run a cannabis grow or run a retail. Tell us about Cookies U.
Sure. So Cookies U built the campus out in California, and they do full training for people that want to get into the cannabis industry. And they have housing there. They have daycare for people if they have, because a lot of people have kids and they can't leave for a couple of weeks. And Cookies University is training people on the cultivation and manufacturing side, as well as the retail side. And the fact is, Cookies in my view, is the top American cannabis brand, and they know what they're doing. So I think that anybody that attends their school is really going to sort of, in my view, hear from the best and really be well set up to go out into the industry.
That's so cool. Now, can Chris hear us? Did we decide? Okay, good. Okay, Chris, tell us about Weber Wellness. Is that connected? Can you hear me?
I hope that you can hear me. It's
Yeah.
freezing on my side. So if you can hear me,
Yes.
I'll just talk a little bit about Jason and why we're doing the fun. First, I want to say hello to everyone out there, and I wish I could be there. And hey, Jason, my name is Chris Weber. I played in the NBA about 15 years. And being a professional athlete, honestly, medicine, one of the things was always foreign because never got it. Very honest, the trust and the camaraderie so much with our
Oh, it was good for a bit, right? What else was he going to say, Jason?
I'm not sure exactly what he was going to say there, but I can tell you that Chris, the reason we really hit it off is because Chris has, in my view, has a great heart. He really cares about what we're doing here. I mean, we both care a lot about it, but he is.
If you can hear me, I'm sorry. And so, playing that many years in the NBA professionally, we had such a relationship and camaraderie with trainers and doctors and others that we would just take anything that we would get. And so, even though our body is just something we should take care of, it was just the way that the culture was. And that, take a lot of medicine, ulcers, so many different things. And there's so many athletes that are already self-educating us. Jump on a plane, you finish a game at 9 at night, you jump on the plane at 12, you get to the 6 at 4 a.m., you have practice at 11. So how do you manage information, how do you manage mood management, things like that. So there were a lot of athletes, and so I really found out about this cannabis plant late in my NBA career after I had a few surgeries and been an advocate for it ever since. The use of the plant. I called Jason I was in business and I want to learn more about the business. Who better to call than my friend? Now, I can say that. Then I was just ignorant and asked to buy and work on some deals and things like some conversations. We saw that our relationships, that really our thought processes aligned. He understood that access in order to help and to give back. Since I turned professional about 28 years ago, I made some really good friends. And in that area, I was able to understand or be able to talk to some of these individuals and let them know about access for certain communities. And in this specifically is a community of Black and brown and others that have been targeted, the communities that are targeted of unfair laws at that time. Jason and I talked about this, and because this is the couple states individuals that we are helping not only financially, they get the benefit of the knowledge of this past. How many times, y'all know as business people, how many times do you need just more than money? You need help with infrastructure or contacts. And so Jason really has helped a lot of social equity applicants with that already. What our fund does, really, all we do is impacts. We use the same analytics that Jason uses in all of his funds. And so therefore, that's why I'm happy about it, because in no way is this a welfare or a give back, man. And so social equity applicants, we do not want to be seen as that way anyway. We want to be seen as partners. They are hard workers, they're passionate, and they're going through kind of the first wave of storm. As you all know, as business people, it's hard to have successful business in anything you do. And so really what Jason is only with the funds that come in, but personally his time, his knowledge, he's led to so many social equity applicants and partners already. I'm proud to say that we were also part of Cookies University. in this university. It's an intense hands-on 3-month program in some places at the time that really appreciates any wants to be in business. So there's something and then there's so many industries, like cigarette, I'm friendly that you can benefit too by being here. And so not only is it an opportunity for those individuals and youngsters and older to learn more about the plant, but also it's great for people in these communities. Their families have been damaged, reputations, lives have been damaged to get in the system if they choose, but in a way that allows them to succeed through education. So really excited about the communities that we're committed to, and more so the communities that we're going to help going forward. So, Jason, we always talk about you well about doing good, and that we believe that there's profitability involved and access.
Hey, thanks for your patience, everyone, on the tech. So much for tech in 2021, right? Look, this is also, Chris, I don't know if you can hear me.
We're galvanizing people, talent,
Yeah.
and Jason, I can hear you. And thank you for having me be a part of this.
No, see what's important. Part of the whole social equity is the advocacy that is needed and the sponsorship. And Jason, look, here's a treasure trove. He's still at it. He's still at it. Get the hook out.
So thank you guys again.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Look, I know I see a lot of brilliant and knowledgeable and successful people right in this audience. And I encourage you and Chris to draw from the wealth of knowledge, because advocacy is about delivering knowledge and resources and ideas. And there's plenty of people who want to do that. So, that's what it's all about if we're going to support the social equity opportunity. All right, so everyone, meet Barre Hamp. He's to my right. Barre is part of the Shinnecock Nation, and he is part of what's building a cannabis operation just down the road in Southampton. Barre, talk to us. Tell us about some of the hardships. Tell us about sovereign nation as Shinnecocks, some of the issues you have to go through, even to pull off a cannabis operation.
Hakame, which is greetings in my Algonquin native language. My name is Barre Hamp. I'm an enrolled tribal citizen of the Shinnecock Indian Nation. You are sitting on our territory. Our borders went from East Hampton to Brookhaven Town Line. We're one of the original 13 tribes on Long Island, and we're a sovereign nation. What that means is within New York, you have indigenous Native Americans that were here pre-first contact, 1640, over at Conscious Point. And we've been looking at this. We've been looking for forms of economic development because our tribe does not benefit from any of the tax base that you all as citizens of the United States and of New York pay in. We're basically self-sufficient. So unless it's a grant that we apply for or some type of economic development, which is one of my major reasons for being here, my specialty is tribal economic development. I fell into cannabis in 2014 because I was looking for a business venture to help Native people, something that's indigenous to us, which is this plant, this cannabis plant we've worked with for over tens of thousands of years. And it was a way for us to get back to our tradition, which we are caretakers of Mother Earth. We've worked with this plant and healing, plant-based, which is a real hot buzz now. We've been doing that for centuries and generations. So we had this opportunity with cannabis, And we said, let's get in and let's look at this. It's a major opportunity for the nation to earn some revenue. Well, the barriers to it was we didn't have $1 million to apply for one of the 5 licenses that were originally granted in New York State, which now is 10. We had some expertise, but not on a commercial level, more on a homegrown or personal grow level with tribal members. So it was like, how do you get in here to make a major splash and an impact in a culture that's been around underground for over 30, 40, 4 or 5 decades. So we sent tribal members out. I was out as one of them. I learned this business in the Emerald Triangle in Northern California. I came back with also my tribal cousin, Marcus Williams, who's over there, who went out to do the research on behalf of the tribe itself. I did it as an entrepreneur. We brought this opportunity back and we started 6 years ago. 6 years it's taken a nation to get to the point where within the next 6 to 8 months, we're going to be opening it's going to be a world-class dispensary wellness center. It's going to be done in New York State, the second largest cannabis community next to California. And it's going to be something for everybody to look at, not just tribal nations. We did our due diligence. We did our homework. We did all of the legal, regulatory research on how to set this up. We passed medical cannabis ordinance under tribal law, which mirrors the New York State Compassionate Care Act of 2014. We did that under tribal law in 2016. We're having a vote in 2 weeks for adult use since New York has passed adult use, but it's been a long road. When I tell you 6 years, and for us to start out with a $20 million business partner, multi-state operator that cuts the learning curve because they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on which lights, how to do it, how to get your IP, how to get everything correct. For us to be that, we can go in as a vertically integrated company, not even just tribal company, and compete with the best of them in New York State.
Now that's part of this Connor Green tilt. Yes. We are reading about this Connor Green tilt connection. You're part of that. Talk us through that. And by the way, I've seen the beautiful renderings of what they're planning to build. It's just gorgeous. So talk us through that. Tell us how that works. How did that even come about?
So I was introduced through a Native American attorney, firm, and we had a white paper on how to do this as far as cannabis for tribes prior to the Cole Memorandum coming out in December of 2014. I was introduced to 2 investors from a company called Connor Green. They were looking to go upstate New York, actually, to pursue cannabis with either the Seneca Nation or the St. Regis Mohawks, which are in the Northern Territory, our sister tribe. When I got introduced to the gentlemen, they met me down in Southampton Village, and they said, well, the attorney said, you're native. I said, yes, I am. Well, what tribe are you with? I said, I'm with the Shinnecock Indian Nation right here in Southampton. He goes, we don't want to go upstate. We want to do it with Shinnecock because you're closer to New York City and the population. So that enhanced that began the relationship with myself and Connor Green. I'm a partner for Connor Green. I brought Connor Green to the nation. The nation had vetted through their Economic Development Committee and our Council of Trustees, which is our leadership board. They had vetted 8 companies already. I put in a proposal. We won, and I love hearing it because people go, you only won because you're a tribal member. It was like a fixed deck. I said, no, we won because we actually came in and told my nation how to do this to avoid the pitfalls of DOJ and any action being taken, any of the raids that had happened in Indian country prior. Everyone else came and said, you're a sovereign nation, you can do whatever you want. And we're like, no, we're a sovereign nation and we're equal to New York State. So whatever New York State can do, we can do under our own tribal law. And that was the relationship with Connor Green. And then we needed an operator. So we looked around and we decided we had some smaller companies, which we would have loved to have done business with because we believe in the little person getting a fighting chance, the social equity side of it. But we said to cut the learning curve and to be major players on an international stage, because yes, we're going to start in Southampton. Shinnecock is known a lot because of the golf course that we helped build, but we want this to be an international brand, Little Beach Harvest. So we looked around and we ended up doing a deal with Tilt Holdings to be our operator to bring in. And what we did was a little bit different because people go, okay, it's easy to go out and get an operator. We're bringing an operator in that has to train tribal members for us to eventually take over this operation 100% self-sufficient. So they're bringing IP, they're bringing the training. We want all of the jobs, and we're looking at, when this is done, we're looking at a 5,000 square foot dispensary on Montauk Highway in Southampton. We're going to have a wellness center that's 2,500 square feet because we believe in this plant and the healing capacity of it. We know it traditionally, and we want to spread that not just in our own community, but the community of Long Island and in the cannabis community. We're going to be looking for strategic partners for Little Beach Harvest, whether you're one of the micro licenses or whatever out of the 10. We're going to be looking to build this industry and make it strong. And we want it to be the tribe that kicked the doors into New York to make it a level playing field and to balance it for all other minorities coming into here. So if you can't get it, if you can't get some help from Jason and Chris, the tribe will be looking for strategic partners to put people, minority people that look like us into this business, because there's a lot of people that will never touch this product, and now all of a sudden it's their new cash cow. We want to make sure it's equal and inclusive for all.
Good for you. Good for you. And this is the first tribal cannabis operation in New York State, so fabulous. Really good.
Thank you.
All right. So everyone, please say hello to Eddie Armstrong, Cannabis Capital Group. And he is a real thought leader and knowledgeable player. Eddie, talk to us. Tell us about some of the wonderful work you're doing. Any stories of lifting people up, showing them the way. Talk to us. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Eddie Armstrong. I'm a former state elected official, and my family's background is in medicine. We own an outfit of gastroenterology centers in the South, and quite similar to Jason's story in the pharmaceutical space. My family decided to apply for a license to grow cannabis. Can you hear me? To grow cannabis in the South. And we were one of the first families to get a license to do that in Arkansas. We opened up a company, a consulting firm in Chicago, which is also where we live, to assist in many ways, like the Cookies Incubator and our sovereign tribes, to assist people of color, women, veterans, and others that have been disproportionately left out of this industry space, to grant them opportunities. If they could identify the capital, we could assist them with their applications, and that's what our company does. We're a consulting firm that assists with applications. And due to our partnership with the great people at ArcView Consulting and ArcView Group, Jason Malcolm, David Abernathy, Jeffrey Finkel, those guys looked at us and decided that we should partner in a way that really looked at how we access the capital. And then we bring our expertise to the table in a very niche way to allow for people to be a part of competing.
Good for you. This is so needed to have some real smarts on the application. Then you got a chance.
Well, not only did we get a chance, we focused on it from a pharmaceutical, therapeutic, and medical approach. The catchphrase is medical cannabis before they recreationally legalize it. And why not put physicians and healthcare professionals around these applications that really can identify and speak to the science of it? And more importantly, as you're going through the rulemaking process and the state regulators that review these applications, it was important that we had people with experience there. It's one thing to have the big Fortune 50, $2 billion fund. It's another thing to have the tribalist knowledge, but lacking the other components of how to work that through your local bureaucratic system at the state, county, or local level was something that was missing. So I left the legislature when John Boehner left Congress, and we got into cannabis and got out of medicine.
So are there any special programs you can do for social equity applicants, even in the way of fees or how you charge?
Yeah, sure. it depends on if you're going to retail and or cultivate. You know, we stood up a small consulting firm. We're not an incubator like GTI or Cresco or any of these bigs, but what we do is look at it on a state-by-state basis, and we really try and lock in, and shout out to Shanae Bullock, who couldn't be here, women, veterans, people in the medical profession that are really looking at a chance to advocate and advance their way of being able to get into the space. And that's not typically looked at. There's a lot of big money, and no offense to my white brothers, we are one of 8 growers in the state of Arkansas. We were one of the first African-American families to do that in the segregated South. And that was really special to us. So we moved into Chicago, and now we have a license for medical research in Georgia. And I'm excited to be here today. Thank you so much.
That's great. Thank you. And thank you. And just in case you haven't read the 128-page statute from New York, and by the way, stand by for the regulations someday soon to come out, women are actually considered social equity applicants for a New York application. So that's pretty good. So let's pull together and get those licenses, ladies.
And Gene, may I just add something? From the streets of a real poor place, all the doctor medical shit, excuse me, is one thing, but what cannabis has done to communities that look like mine over the years, and for me to be able to come in as a policymaker and a law changer first, and then to look beyond that at the real medical approach to it, providing opportunities for people to invest through our equity crowdfunding platform, while also assisting people that want to apply to stand their businesses up, and hopefully get them money from funds like this, is exactly why we're here today. So it's a really important thing that you all are here to think about, but it's not a bed of roses.
That's great. All right, in closing, that's great. Thank you, Eddie. I always like to leave people with some words of wisdom. So let's go down the line. Barre, what words of wisdom do you have for this audience about the wonderful work that you're doing? What comes to mind?
I love seeing so many people interested and getting involved in this industry, because I think this is going to change America. Pharmaceuticals, I have nothing against them, but they've done a disservice to this country. So for us to take a plant that can heal and has so many benefits that we haven't even touched the surface. I mean, I remember in 2014, people didn't know what CBD was. Everybody knows what CBD is. People don't know what CBN is. And what I told people, and I learned this from Steve D'Angelo and United Cannabis, who taught me this stuff in 2014, was there are over 200 cannabinoids in the plant, and people know 2. So we are just scratching the surface of this. I told someone I love sports. I followed Chris since Michigan, Fab 5. But it's like we are in the first inning, first out of a 9-inning baseball game in this industry. So let's be inclusive. And if we're united, that's our strength. We are all have to come together with one cause, one love for each other.
Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant. Eddie, to you.
Look, let's be real. There are a lot of real inside ball players in this audience, people that know exactly what's taking shape in this industry. And dollars are controlling that. The economic impact from one of the most profitable states in the cannabis industry right now happens to be the state of Arkansas, because it's a controlled, very highly regulated market. And so the advice I would have for the people in this audience is to think beyond cultivation and or retail. There are a lot of unique opportunities in the ancillary business space. And hopefully through our equity crowdfunding platform, we've got about 30 companies right now, a great sense of the investment track for that. But if you're thinking about transporting, hydroponics or lighting or just delivering services beyond just cultivating and growing, I'd encourage you to get on the train now or get on the plane now, as Jason and I say, because the wheels are up. And the guys that really know what's going on in this space, you will soon start to see big players here in New York and beyond the world make this a global thing. It's already been a global thing. So think ancillary. Everybody's not going to be able to grow. Everybody's not going to be able to retail. But there's enough pie for everybody to eat if you think beyond just those 2 things.
Thank you. Thank you. Jason, to you.
Words of wisdom. I guess this is something I tell to
most of the companies that I speak to, not just companies that are talking to us about the impact fund. I usually want to make sure that whoever these entrepreneurs are, that they are completely, that this is like a passion that they've never felt before. Because the fact is, this industry, no matter what color you are, this industry is really, really difficult. There's not, everybody's sort of, learning it, and we're sort of building the plane while we're flying it. And there's nobody that will come to you and say, this is the exact right way to grow, and this is the lights that you should use, and all of that stuff. And it's hard. You sort of have to, I tell people, you have to be, it's like an Ironman triathlon of extreme problem solving. Every single day, there's problems, and you just sort of have to be comfortable with being a little uncomfortable on any given day, because you're not going to have all the answers, even though you have to make a decision sometimes on certain things. So as long as you're not just in it for the money, in my view, if you're in it because you want to build a great business, because you want to bring access to this medicine to more and more people, things like that, like be focus on building a great business, and the money part will take care of itself, because there's tons of companies out there that have gotten lots and lots of monies and have turned into complete failures because they were more focused on money than they were on building a great sustainable business.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So my favorite is this wonderful African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Let's go together and make it happen. Thank you, Jason.
Gene.
Eddie.
Gene.
Barre.
Hey, Gene Sullivan, your moderator, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to stick around and bring up the fireside chat. But first, let's get a couple of photographs here, and then I'm going to ask this panel to go out to the step and repeat, where there's going to be another photograph. And before Gene brings up the fireside chat, and hey, thanks a lot, guys. Before she does that, I just want to take a time out on a special moment, and we're right on schedule, so we appreciate you sitting around. Gene's going to bring up the fireside chat in just a second. I want to thank, in addition to all the sponsors here, another company that isn't a sponsor but has made their presence really well known here today. And of course, I'm talking about Cablevision and Optimum Wi-Fi. If you have it like I do, you realize Optimum, there's nothing optimum about it. With apologies to Chris Weber, who we did get to hear a lot of, and Shanae, and Gene was very funny about technology in the year 2021. But she's right. Okay, we're going to keep this show going right along. She's going to bring up the fireside chat. I want to remind you that we have a legalization panel that's going to be fantastic after that. Another main event fireside chat. And finally, the big event, the investment panels. And during the investment panels, we're going to take your questions. I know you'll have many of them. So, Gene, thanks once again.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause for the clubhouse and everyone working here today. He's going to light the fire in a second. Yes, there's going to be a real fireside chat. Gene Sullivan, thank you so much, and we'll see you again in a few moments.